Hello friends, Mark Holmes here, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Deja Vu Sports Report. Without you guys, well, we know this doesn't work without you guys, so thank you as always for tuning in. I gotta tell you, I am so excited for this season to get here, and that's true pretty much always. I'm always excited about the season to get here, but this season, I feel like could be special. I like being a student of the game. I love studying the game. I love looking at history of the game. I like to look at things that have happened in the past because if you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going. And when you look at things that have happened with the Dallas Cowboys, I feel good about where we are right now. The Dallas Cowboys have learned the hard way. They've learned about free agency and how free agency is a tool to help you get to the next level, but it's not a building block. And that's the mistake that too many teams make. They think that we can just get a team full of free agents and win, but you can't because it costs you too much money. And you have to be careful who you pick and choose to fit what you are trying to accomplish. A guy might be an all-star in one place, but that doesn't always translate into the next one. And more times than not, we see guys that fail in free agency as opposed to thriving in free agency. There's very few Reggie White situations that literally changes the narrative of a team. And I look at what our Cowboys have done. In fact, I look what the Cowboys have done for quite a while now, where they've gone for more substance than sizzle. It used to be that the Cowboys would always try and make that big oomph, that big push, that big signing, the TOs or the big trades for Roy Williams and things. But they've learned that it's not the big moves that matter. And when you think about it, it's like I always used to call our offense depth by 1,000 cuts when it's running the way you ultimately want it to. And I look at it and say that you kind of have that opportunity with what you have now. Because you have a Zeke Elliott, he's going to end up hitting you and hitting you and hitting you. And now that you have an Amari Cooper, a Randall Cobb, a Michael Gallup, you've got speed. Now that you have a Jason Witten, you have a guy who can find a soft spot in there. There's so many different parts to stop. When you get cut 1,000 times, you can't stop the bleeding. You'll die from all of the cuts. You get one wound, you can fight that one wound. And if they can take these parts and put it together the right way, they can do a lot of things. I'll go into that more tonight during our live stream of things that they'll be able to do with the combinations that they have. But for them to methodically go through in free agency, and there's no guarantee on any of these players. Let's put that out there. Randall Cobb was hurt a bit last year and the last couple of years of things. There's no guarantee that he's going to be, back to where he was a couple of years ago. Robert Quinn is getting a little bit older, but he's still play-by-play was one of still the best pass rushers out there on one-on-one battles. And if you get a DeMarcus Lawrence getting the shoulder surgery done and in camp and happy and healthy, there's no reason why you're not going to get after the quarterback. So you've got pieces. But when I look at our team has been the regular season team under Jason Garrett, where we usually play really, really well during the regular season. But the postseason has not had the success that you would think with the talent that we've had. Or the games that matter most have been the biggest problem. And that's in lies, my friends, my biggest worry is that we have enough horses to win the race, but we just don't do everything we need to do to get it to work. Only time will tell on that one, and hopefully it'll work out. But as I look through and I think about where this team has been, the team that just can't seem to win, the choking dogs, as some of those fans out there will say, is the same thing they used to say about our Dallas Cowboys when I was born and growing up. Dallas Cowboys, they lost in the Ice Bowl to the Green Bay Packers. In fact, they lost 3 times to the Green Bay Packers going into the championship games. In fact, had they won the Ice Bowl, it might be the Tom Landry Trophy as opposed to the Vince Lombardi one. But that team, the Cowboys, after the Ice Bowl, then they went against the Colts in a game that was full of field goals, lost again. And again, the Dallas Cowboys, great regular season team, but they're chokers. They're dogs. They just can't win the big one until they did. And you look at the team that they were in the 70s, and had they had a couple of plays go right against the Steelers, it might have been the Cowboys' decade. But as this team evolves in this fourth year of Zeke and Dak and things, I look at the parallels to the team of the 90s. Jimmy Johnson came into an abysmal team, a team that was old, rock bottom, and just needed to start over. And they went 1-15, that one win being against the Washington Redskins. The next year, 7-9, better, still a long ways to go. The next year, I believe, 10-6 or 11-5. One win in the playoffs, lost in the second one. But then that fourth year, Super Bowl champions with a young stud running back, a quarterback who was the number one pick, but a lot of people thought that he shouldn't have been starting. That should have been Walsh. That didn't do real good first couple of years and had people doubting whether or not he was the guy. An arrogant stud wide receiver, great offensive line, and a tough defense. Number one ranked defense. Does any of this sound familiar to you guys? Because the parallels are right there. The only thing we don't have is the Herschel Walker trade. I look at this, and that's where the power of four came to me. The fourth year, Jimmy Johnson's fourth year with that team was that Super Bowl team. That team that the year before, one playoff win, one playoff loss. That team that had to turn themselves around, rebuild. And you look at this roster from that 2014 team, there's very few players that are still left on this roster. In short order, the Dallas Cowboys have torn this team apart and rebuilt it. And the reason that we are in all these problems with signing people is because they've done so well at getting great talent all at the same time. And as I look at this team, talent isn't the issue. The thing I worry about most is complacency, a lack of hunger, and arrogance that'll kill this team. In 2017, I feel like that's what killed this team. From the owners to the coaches to the players, they thought that they had it all together. Best offensive line in football, great running back, rookie of the year quarterback. All we got to do is show up, and we're going to win. And that's when they got bitch slapped. And that, my friends, to me, is the biggest thing to worry about. The biggest competition is going to come from within. Can't wait for the season to get here. I hope when these guys get there that they've got that hunger, that drive to want to achieve. They've got all the pieces. It's not for a lack of talent. Yeah. I see this as a team to reckon with. Football season can't get here soon enough, guys. Hope you tune in to our live stream tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to have a couple of my friends join in. And, of course, we'll be talking about what else? Football, the Dallas Cowboys, and life. I'm Mark Holmes. And it's nice to have a day or two off. I'll see you soon.